Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Sanch here, your host here on the Bodybuilding News Network. If you are new here, definitely consider subscribing. I always appreciate the fan base, the family here growing. I wanted to start off today's episode, another episode of Bodybuilding Daily, where we talk about all things hot topic and trending in the world of bodybuilding. I wanted to start it off with a physique update. As you can see here, Michal Krizo. I don't think anyone's really been talking about this guy. He hasn't posted a physique update since February 5th, but this is the most recent one we've seen from him. And it looks like he's very much in the off season, but still holding on to a relatively good looking flow in the physique. Nothing's really blown out. The midsection looks somewhat controlled. And, I was watching the Olympia footage of him, and I was thinking in a recent Fuad Abiad episode on his I think it's Bro Chat is the show. I can't remember how many shows he has, but on that one they were talking about the most improved bodybuilder, and they had Samson, they had Andrew Jacked in the conversation, but I don't think anyone was talking about Michal Krizo, because you got to think about this. He came from a different organization, the IFBB Elite Pro, who he was the number one guy. He won the Arnold Classic Europe a couple times at least. And then, he was the main dog over there. He comes in, wins his first ever NPC show. He qualifies for the regional or for the pro qualifying in Italy, gets his pro card, does his first show, wins it, comes into the Olympia and places top 10. I mean, how many people do you know that have done that in the men's open division? I mean, I can think like when you think of 212, I mean, Tony Burton, his pro debut, he came in, won his first pro show, came into the Olympia, placed top 10. But there's not very many people in the open that have done that. And I genuinely think that Michal Krizo hasn't really gotten why did I say that so weird? Anyways, it's late. I don't know why he gets that look or doesn't get the good look from these other bodybuilding news outlets. I think it's unfortunate. So that's a conversation I want you to think about moving forward in your wonderful week. Next up, let's talk about some recent physique updates from Big Ramy's coach, Chad Nichols, sharing some physique updates of Big Ramy. Just under 3 weeks out. We're almost close to 2 weeks out. It's actually quite crazy. I'll be flying out in just a couple weeks. Very excited. But the question here is, how good does Big Ramy look here? You look at the hamstrings, you look at the glutes, not as hard as we've seen him before, especially when you look at the Olympia. I think that the back doesn't look as sharp as we want to see. And the big conversation that they're going to be pushing is the back. They want the back to look really, really good. And I'm all for that. But when you look at the lower back, I don't think it really looks very much improved, because the lower back never looked bad from these relaxed or from even a lat spread. It's where he gets into the back double shot where it's really starts to get a little questionable. And we're just about to move into the next little section of photos here. Another collage courtesy of Who is the Best Bodybuilder over on Instagram, one of my favorite pages to follow for bodybuilding news. He posted some other physique updates that I believe his coach or his one of his trainers posted up. I can't remember it specifically, but again, they're kind of focusing on wanting you to look at that lower back and how there's no issues, but the angle is horrible. I mean, you're never going to want to take a shot from the top like that. It just doesn't tell you anything. But from the bottom, the legs, the hamstrings, I think they look good from the side. He's always had really good side shots when we look at the leg, or even the side shots in general. The midsection's never been an issue, so I'm not too worried here. You don't really see the lump on top of the quad that you did the Olympia, so hopefully that cyst or abscess or whatever was going on there, bad shot, that's gone. But from the front, that's where the legs are going to be really questionable, and I'm looking forward to seeing him on stage in it'll be 2 weeks pretty soon here. Another guy we will see on stage here, Samson Dauda. And The question here, and I guess I just keep saying that, but genuinely, how I'm thinking about this is, you look at the old shot from last year's Arnold, you look at the current one, the proportions are way off, the lighting is completely different. But to be fair for him and his coach and his team, he does have much better conditioning in the hamstrings. The back looks surprisingly, it looks comparable. It's just how he's posing it, I think, is a little bit different. I think he's shrugging the traps a little bit more to make him look a little, I don't want to say taller, but it makes the traps not look as slouched down. Now that could be training. He could have put in the work in the off season. He could have built, bigger traps. It's definitely a possibility, but it is something to think about. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, on Samson Dauda coming into the Arnold Classic. I definitely have him battling it out 1 and 2, but of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections below. And last but certainly not least, I did want to give a plug to one of my favorite Canadian, yes, you heard it, Canadian wellness pros, Miss Emily Gauley, who is married to Ian, or Iron Gauley. Oh, sorry, I messed his name up. Of course I messed his name up. Eiren, Eiren. Aaron? Anywho, enough about him. Miss Emily Gauley is sharing some physique updates, as you just saw, coming into the 2023 glute season, as she says. And that makes sense. That's very in brand with her. She is a wellness pro, placing 6th at this most recent Legion Sports, as you can see the footage on the screen. And before that, placing 2nd at the Toronto Pro, the native, one of the big Canadian shows. Now, we are actually somewhat close to another pro show in Canada, the Vancouver Island Showdown. Corey, the promoter, has that show coming out, so we are excited for that show. Of course, stay tuned for another episode here of myself and Danielle Willis. We will be doing another women's bodybuilding highlight episode this Saturday. If you have questions, I'll put up a thumbnail this morning. Actually, I'll put it up for you so you guys can get your questions in. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it here for another episode on the Bodybuilding News Network. The new t-shirt designs just came in, so the design that you will see on the screen right now will be available. Message me on Instagram if you are interested. Otherwise, I will be dropping them on the website if you want to purchase it that way. But if you do message me, I can make them myself in-house. It'll be just the quality will be a little bit different because I'll actually get to control it. But that'll do it. Thanks for watching. I'm Josh Sanch, your host. As always, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in another episode.